The Ballon d'Or race right now is open. Very open. With Messi being in the States, Cristiano Ronaldo being in Saudi Arabia. We're going to have a new era. A new era with stars that are born right now. And the current odds on favorite for the Ballon d'Or, 10th is currently Salah. 9th is currently Vinicius Jr. 8th, Kevin De Bruyne. 7th, we see Phil Foden ahead of De Bruyne, which can be bold for some people. 6th, who is it? The best player in the MLS, Lionel Messi. 5th, Rodri. 4th, Erling Haaland. 3rd, Harry Kane, that is still in the Champions League. 2nd, Kylian Mbappe. And 1st, the favorite to win the Ballon d'Or for the bookies right now, Jude Bellingham. Do you think Jude Bellingham is going to win the Ballon d'Or, Breton?
Do I think Jude Bellingham is going to win the Ballon d'Or? Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh.
You want me to answer?
He's definitely the... I think Kylian Mbappe is going to.
Kylian Mbappe is going to win the Ballon d'Or. So why are you saying that? Is he going to win the Champions League?
I don't know. I really don't know, Alex. So you tell me what you think right now, because I am so Jude Bellingham obviously is not as hot as he started the season as, but he is still obviously an integral part of Real Madrid. It comes down to how England and France do in the Euros. It really does for me. I think even if Jude Bellingham wins the Champions League, none of that matters. None of it matters. It all comes down to the Euros and who goes as far as possible in the Euros, England or France.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, Breton. I think it will hold
Really?
a lot. A key factor for me will be the Champions League. And I'm going to say this. So I think if Real Madrid win La Liga, which I certainly believe they will, and the Champions League, I think Jude Bellingham will become the second youngest player ever to win the Ballon d'Or. And I know it's very hard for me to believe England is not going to go at least to the semifinals. And if that's not the case, well, you got to sack Southgate, because you have now Cole Palmer, Saka, Foden, Kane, Bellingham, Rice, world class. So the list of names is absolutely crazy. And what I was surprised, and I want to say to our listeners, sorry, because Tchouaméni was suspended. And we did do the predictions talking about, big time about Tchouaméni. But now that Tchouaméni's back, woohoo! Okay, people, you gotta be scared. And yes, I think Jude Bellingham wins the Ballon d'Or a lot because of the team component and the difference that he made for Real Madrid from one season to the other. If you see the game of Man City against Real Madrid, they didn't have possession, but it was controlled defense. Real Madrid had a masterclass against Man City in terms of defense. They showed to the world that they're the best team in the world off ball. Why? Because of Ancelotti and the belief. There's a belief in all these players that the right thing is going to happen because of the responsibility that they hold, being Galacticos. And that's the greatness of Ancelotti. The manager that has knocked out Guardiola the most times in his career. 3 times in the Champions League. Carlo Ancelotti. And another bold statement, it's Lunin, okay? We're talking Ballon d'Or here. But in order for Jude Bellingham to win the Ballon d'Or, Jude Bellingham needed the best backup goalkeeper in the world. It's not Kelleher. It's not Ortega. It's Lunin. That in the penalties, the confidence that he showed with that middle prediction with Bernard Silva, you don't see a lot of people doing that. Lunin deserves the trust to start every game until the final of the Champions League. He's got what it takes. He's got what it takes.
Yeah. So that was what? That was Bernardo Silva getting counsel, right, from former teammates. Or I'm sorry, Andre Lunin getting counsel on Bernardo Silva, just like he
Kovacic.
on Kovacic, but also on Bernardo Silva.
From who?
And Kepa. From Kepa.
I didn't see that.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah, there's definitely you can see them talking beforehand. It's pretty awesome. So it was 2 instances of former teammates basically saying, "Hey, this is what happened, and if it happens again, yeah." But him standing still, you saw like there was not even a flinch in one direction. Lunin was always sticking at the middle in that one. But yeah, come on, what a phenomenal story there. right? Not even the backup keeper. He's the third keeper heading into the season. And again, opportunity, adversity. This is why you play the games. And he comes through big with those saves. So it's a great story. But I know we're off the Ballon d'Or talk, and Jude Bellingham. It still comes down to the Euros for me. It really does still come down to the Euros or I guess even Copa America. I mean, are we going to just throw the baby out with the bathwater here and say Vinicius can't rise up scoring, 8 goals in the if he wins the Champions League and then Brazil wins the Copa America in the United States?
I really believe the Ballon d'Or winner, or it's going to be Jude Bellingham, or it's going to be
Kylian
Mbappe. I really believe that's going to be my conviction. And I think the final is going to be Kylian Mbappe versus Jude Bellingham too. And I think we're going to witness greatness in Wembley.
Future teammates.
That like Cristiano won in Paris. Bale won in Wales, in Cardiff. And now Bellingham, you can win in London. It can happen.
Yeah.
And what a way. We talk Bellingham, we talk Champions League, but I want to focus on the collective, because the collective is what makes Real Madrid special compared to a team like Barcelona. That I think the collective is not as strong currently right now. And this collective of Real Madrid, we're going to have it's the 4th season that the main captain of Real Madrid, it's the 4th season that the first captain of Real Madrid is going to leave. In 2021, Sergio Ramos left. 2022, Marcelo left. 2023, Karim Benzema left. And now it's been announced Nacho will leave at the end of this season in 2024. A legacy has left at the club. 23 years. He's played left back. He's played center back. He's played right back. And number 6, that will be forever iconic. And if he wins La Liga and the Champions League, he will be the most decorated player ever in Real Madrid history. That I believe will be the case. And this is a bold prediction, because if we're talking Nacho, he's going to leave. We're going to say the successor. The next number 6 of Real Madrid, I have no doubt that it's going to be Eduardo Camavinga. Okay, 135 games now for Real Madrid. He's been key, playing in fullback too, just like Nacho Fernandez, had to be adaptable. And Tchouaméni's number 8, Camavinga number 6. Like the icon that he's becoming at such a young age, he deserves the credit. 21 years old, and he's a Galactico and a French national team player that will not leave anymore. But I wanted to give this special credit to Nacho and to Carvajal, because Jeremy Doku substitutes Jack Grealish. Doku, that big boy, he was in that Champions League game, but Carvajal showed that he's one of the best right backs ever in Real Madrid history for what he's done with the experience that he's shown. To control Doku the way he did. And then Lucas Vazquez comes, a player that is moments type player, and he does this masterclass to defend Doku. Like, Carvajal is definition of the art of defending. The art of defending.
Well, and one of the only, if I'm not mistaken, one of the only La Fabrica actual products, correct?
True.
That's in the 11.
It's true. It's
true.
Yeah,
where they went, they sent him away and they brought him back. And that's kind of the Real Madrid way, right? Send him away. If they do well, you bring him back.
Leverkusen.
Send him away. Oh yeah. Well, yes. It's so
beautiful.
So interesting to me. But the whole Nacho thing, like him stepping away, he will get more plaudits. He will get more respect for what he did in a Real Madrid shirt as he exits, and he exits potentially very gracefully with another shot at this UCL title. Exactly. But certainly his time while playing for Real Madrid was never met with the exact same respect. Would you say that?
I agree. I think a lot of people
because he was never a Galactico. Yeah, exactly.
He's that type of player. He's the squad player, Nacho. He puts the collective over the individual. And Nacho, Lucas Vazquez, Carvajal, Toni Kroos, Luka Modric, these are the players that maintain that mentality for Carlo Ancelotti. And if you're going to win Champions League, you need people with the right mindset. And these players, the calmness that Real Madrid had playing off ball with Man City, the only shot was like in the 12th minute. And they said, look, we're controlling the game. We know what we're doing. And we have the game plan to win against Man City. And I got to respect that. Real Madrid, in the last 14 years, They've been in the semifinals of the Champions League for 12 years. And that happens because Florentino Perez at the top does elite decision making. And if Ancelotti, I think when Ancelotti leaves, Xabi Alonso is going to replace him. And this summer it's going to be another masterclass with Lenny Yoro coming, with Hendrik coming, with Kylian Mbappe coming. And Alphonso Davies is rumoredly going to come too. So that's what makes Real Madrid a consistent winner. Because they have the best teams in the world and developed too the way that they do things. But it's Ballon d'Or. Yeah, sorry.
And they've made it, but they've made it to the semifinals. They made it to the finals, or they've won their finals in the Champions League by also adapting, not necessarily playing the same tactic the whole way through with just minor tweaks. I mean, they won this purely via defense.
True.
Right?
And
defense even without Aurelien. And without Aurelien Tchouameni on the pitch, as you and I found out a little after the fact. But listen, that in and of itself, I mean, tells you it's a mentality thing, right? And a flexibility thing, because it just feels like Manchester City got away from being direct. Too direct? I mean, I don't know. Erling Haaland ghosted again in a game that we did not necessarily expect him to. And I'd say it's crazy to say that a man that has scored as many goals that he has over the last 2 seasons, that it seems relatively simple to get him outside of himself in games that really matter. And Real Madrid, that's credit to them. That's credit to Rudiger giving him nipple twists or whatever it was in the middle of the match, just getting inside his head. It's a wonderful. The game is so much more, obviously, than playing whatever anyone deems the right way. And Real Madrid figured that out and has figured that out, and that's why they're one of the most successful over the last 20 years in the competition.
Completely. So. And you mentioned Haaland being nullified. Haaland is nullified because of Rudiger. Rudiger is one of the best signings, I think, in the past 20 years in football. He's for free has gone to Real Madrid, a former Champions League winner at Chelsea, and now at Real Madrid, he's going to be a legend in my point of view. The way he's doing things, it's completely unbelievable. And he's going to be key for Germany in the Euros. Toni Kroos, Rudiger, Florian Wirtz, Jamal Musiala, these are the names that are going to make a difference in Euro 2024 for this German team. But yes, we mentioned Jude Bellingham. Mbappe is that contender. He's that guy. And Mbappe didn't have the best of games, but yet he scored 2 goals against Barcelona. And Kylian Mbappe in this Champions League campaign, he's the player with most goals scored, he's the player with most chances created, and he's the player with most dribbles complete. And I think we can clearly see Kylian Mbappe is a better player overall than Erling Haaland. And I believe Kylian Mbappe will win more Ballon d'Ors than Erling Haaland throughout his career. Because if he goes to Real Madrid, mate, it's game over. And we can all see it so clearly. And it's the last dance. If Kylian Mbappe wins the Champions League for PSG, if Kylian Mbappe wins the Champions League for PSG, it's going to be hard to debate if he wins multiple Ballon d'Ors with Real Madrid that he's the best French player ever in the history, ahead of a Zidane, that one of the best midfielders ever and could be the best midfielder for some, and Karim Benzema, that he's won a Ballon d'Or and he's got 90 goals scored in the Champions League, 4th ever in the list. So, yeah, Mbappe is already in the top 10 goal scorers ever in the Champions League with 48 goals. Like the ceiling on him.
And that's there's no doubt Kylian Mbappe all around is the best player on the planet, right? When he's at his peak at the moment, right? And Erling Haaland for this, come on, both of us, I think, had this internal argument last year when he could not stop scoring goals for Manchester City. Whether or not, who was the best, right? Was Erling Haaland, he can do more. I was convincing myself he can do more than just score goals, which is a very key part of the game to win games. But Erling Haaland might not even be in the top 5 best player on the planet. Might not even be in the top 7, top 8. In terms of in terms of what he does all around, right? In terms of being a complete player. But
It's a
I
bold
don't know. It's
statement, Brady.
contingent.
I put him top
It
5.
is,
I put
but
him
it's
top 5.
contingent
So.
upon Manchester City playing through him. Do you put him top 5?
I put Erling Haaland still top 5 because I do believe the goal scoring is quite unique in the world of football with what he can do. When the setup
It
is
is,
done,
but he's so nullified.
it's true.
I don't know. When they play direct, 100%, but they haven't been playing as direct lately in terms of trying to actually, you know, it just doesn't feel that way.
Big teams are playing with a low block against Erling Haaland, and they play with Gabriel and Saliba constantly against him. Erling Haaland needs to explore the space better. Erling Haaland needs to get the ball better, needs to come behind more, a bit like Harry Kane. He needs to develop more. It has to happen, and he's 23.
Yep.
I do believe that will be the case long term, but I think it's going to be a bit of an ups and downs with Erling Haaland, and with Kylian Mbappe, I think it's going to be constant. I think Kylian Mbappe would be consistently in the top 3 of the Ballon d'Or in the next 5 to 10 years. He's mad fast. He's really intelligent, and he's a top athlete. He's very similar in these traits with Cristiano Ronaldo. And if you're similar to Cristiano Ronaldo in any traits, it makes you special. So Kylian Mbappe, keep going bold and go to Real Madrid, okay? Because it's just the right decision. And Kylian Mbappe, he's beaten Real Sociedad. He's beaten now Barcelona, the rivals of Real Madrid, and he went through the group of death. So this could be the year of Kylian Mbappe winning the Ballon d'Or if he wins the Champions League and certainly the Euro 2024.
And he's not even playing his best football right now. PSG does not go through without Vitinha. He does not go through without Warren Zaire-Emery in that game.
I do think a lot of the game was him. He was putting a lot of the focus for him. I think Ronaldo Araújo. The reasoning towards PSG managing to win this game in the second leg was the fact that Barcolo and Dembélé were given a lot of space. And the fact that they were given a lot of space was because the focus was on Kylian Mbappe. And I wanted to, if we gotta talk about it.
Was there in the first leg too.
We gotta talk about this.
Was there in the first leg too.
Ronaldo Araújo can never do what he did. He's 1.92 meters. For you American listeners, equivalent to 6'3". And look at the speed that man was going. If he doesn't know that he's gonna touch that ball 100%, he can never do what he did. And it doesn't show respect to Ter Stegen and no belief to Ter Stegen too. I think a Real Madrid player wouldn't do that. And that shows a lot of the character and the decision-making that you have to have. And saying this, I wanted to ask you this, Breton. Keep or sell Barcelona. Would you sell Frankie de Jong this summer for 60 to 70 million?
For 60, 70 million, yes. Yeah,
and
based on where Barcelona needs to go from here.
And would you sell Ronaldo Araújo for 70 to 80 million?
Oh, if someone's going to pay 70 to 80 million for him,
based
on his injury history, based on his injury history, if Bayern's coming in with 70 to 80 million, yes.
You sell both?
Yes, I would.
So
here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's a consolidation around, I think, what they realize. Although I have issues with putting all your eggs in a 16, 17, 18-year-old basket of the best youth academy on the planet, it seems like it's a reality that might need to come to Barcelona sooner rather than later. And with how many times we've waited for Ronaldo Araujo to come back from injury, I believe that if you can get 70 to 80 million for him, that's
and you still
definite.
have Pau Cubarsí, Jules Koundé, Christensen. You have quality there. But we still believe Ronaldo Araújo is one of the best center backs in the world and one of the players that can stop Vinicius Jr. the best way. But if it's this money being offered when Barcelona has no CDM, I'm completely with you.
And it seems like they are going to go more insular, more internal moving forward. And that would 150 million euros for those two players. It might set you back a La Liga title the next year or two, but it gives you a whole lot more latitude moving forward to build a squad in in whatever light the next manager would like to have. And I think the one thing that we saw from that Barcelona PSG game, at least for me, is that I don't have any hope that Xavi is going to extend.
Yes.
That Laporta is going to be able to convince him to extend. I always held out hope that Xavi would extend in that instance because he is the reason they're trusting the youth a whole lot more. But I do think it's probably more likely that they wind up going internal with Rafa Marquez.
I love it.
Right?
I love how you're saying that because, yes, we're FC Wonder Kid, and we do respect the work that Xavi did. Trusting Hector Fort, trusting Lamine Yamal, trusting Pau Cubarsí, trusting many of these players that are now being so bold. Gavi being out injured. Gavi must be like... Gavi's heart must be broken, mate. The difference that he would have done being involved and not injured for Xavi, it's just heartbreaking. But mentioning the positive side of this game, like for me as a Portuguese man, Vitinha is one of the best midfielders in the world right now in form. It's undisputed right now. This fact, okay, people, okay? Because if you see the Champions League game, Vitinha was one of the best players against Barcelona. And if for the Euros, I want Vitinha, João Palhinha, and Bruno Fernandes at least one game to play together. I love João Neves, but I want to see these three players playing one of those games. And the list of players at PSG below the age of 25 is Xavi Simons, it's Bradley Barcola, it's Gonçalo Ramos, it's Vitinha, it's Warren Zaïre-Emery, it's Nuno Mendes, and it's Ugarte. Great players. And Beraldo too. And three of these players being Portuguese. Gonçalo Ramos, Vitinha, and Nuno Mendes. We're just getting started, Pretson. I love to see it. I'm scared with Xavi Simons and all this. If we replace Fabian Ruiz with Xavi Simons, like, this is a team that can be much more deadlier in this instance.
But then, in the same breath, you take Kylian Mbappe away.
But I don't think
that's gonna.
It's a big factor. But I think Luis Enrique has shown to the world that he can win a Champions League with this PSG team. I
think there will be more There will be more bumps along the way. I think there will be more bumps along the way.
Let's see who are the superstars that are going to... Look, if Kylian Mbappe leaves PSG, I honestly have this feeling that Real Madrid, the PSG are going to get like a Rafael Leão, a Victor Osimhen. They're going to go extremely bold with a bang towards replacing the player. So it can be... It's a debate, but let us know down below what are your thoughts on PSG, Real Madrid, Barcelona, what needs to happen in these teams, and who's going to win the Ballon d'Or in this instance.